Well, Keith, a 1-1 draw between Chelsea and Manchester United. Chelsea dominated possession, dominated chances. Should they have won that game?
One word answer would be yes. They should have won the game. They had enough chances to win the game. They put enough balls into the box. Saying that, the guy made one or two half decent saves. The first save in the first 3 minutes from Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi should score, but he flicks that little heel out there, and he flicks that heel out by design. I've seen keepers do that. They go down on one knee and they leave that heel out for anything along the ground, and it's a very decent save, and it gave United the platform to go on and do something in the game. When your keeper makes a big save like that, even if it's early in the game, you're thinking, this could be our day today. Maybe Chelsea are going to be a little bit off it, and that little thing, if that hits the back of the net, I think United crumble, to be honest with you. I think it could go on and be 3 or 4-0. But they managed to stay in the game, and that's the United of old. They just stay in it and end up getting something out of it. I thought Ronaldo would come on and do something. They managed to do something before he come on, and they look far from a one-man team. It was being thrown at them that if Ronaldo doesn't score, they don't score. They didn't have a lot of chances today, but the work rate from the front three lads who started the game was excellent, and yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how United move forward.
We've seen them do lots of different things with midfield, whether it's one of Matic, McTominay or Fred. Quite often it's Fred and McTominay. Today they went with all three of them to give them that solid base. It does mean that you can't play an awful lot of your attackers, and it does feel, I guess, for Manchester United and the Manchester United way, that it's not the attacking football that they come to expect. Do they just have to sacrifice that now?
I think it's horses for courses. You've got to play the right team at the right time, and to be fair, if you want to play a pressing game like they sort of half did, there was a good balance. I don't think Ronaldo fits into the team if you want to play a pressing game, so it's really difficult to find that balance. Will they keep doing that going forward? I'm really not sure. I think they showed Chelsea a lot of respect with Fred, McTominay and Matic in the middle. They're three more defensively players. I know Fred was actually decent going forward, McTominay was good, Matic was brilliant in the middle, but I think that was character showing a little bit of respect, especially to the Chelsea midfield, how dominant they could be. So they got three workhorses in there, and it was very, very scrappy in the middle of the park. The only time Chelsea looked like something was going to happen was when balls were coming in from wide. I thought we would have seen Lukaku a little bit earlier, because he can get in front of the centre halves, roll a ball into his feet, and when you get Pulisic and Mount and people running off him, it's really, really difficult. But I'm not sure how fit he is. Obviously, he was on the bench against Juventus. Come on, probably didn't want to risk him. But I think there's a few more levels to come from Chelsea. I think United was probably the best they could hope for today.
The new manager should be confirmed over the next 24, 48 hours or so. And part of looking at that Manchester United team felt like he may have had an influence already with the little bit more pressing, with the three in midfield. What do you think it means then for Cristiano Ronaldo's future? Are we writing him off before the managers come in? Surely there's a way of accommodating a Cristiano Ronaldo and a player of his talents.
I would have said, yeah, there is a place for Ronaldo. But when you look at Rangnick's CV and how he goes about business, he very rarely will buy an under-23s or an over-23s player, because he wants hungry players. He doesn't want players that are on their third or fourth professional contracts that have millions in the bank, which obviously Ronaldo falls into that category. Now, whether he can motivate Ronaldo or Ronaldo still has the fitness to be able to get round the pitch and hound people, I don't think so. Even Sancho, he'd be a very wealthy boy. All them United boys are wealthy boys. Can he get them with the hunger and desire to do the running that the likes of Liverpool do, the likes of Manchester City's do, even Chelsea? Can they get to that level? I'm not so sure, especially with Ronaldo in the team. I don't think so. I think you lose a little bit out of possession when Ronaldo's in the team. Maybe it's harsh to call him a passenger, because they can win the ball and go from attack to defence to attack very quickly, and Ronaldo can be the spearhead of that. But if he wants a pressing game, I don't see where Ronaldo fits into that. To be honest, I think that's the reason he ref Juventus, to be honest, as well, is the pressing game wasn't quite there from him.
Jadon Sancho finally got his first Premier League goal after scoring in midweek as well in the Champions League. A very calm finish as well. He had a lot of time to think about it after Jorginho's mistake. What was your overall assessment on his performance and what he can do at United?
Limited. Going forward, he was very, very limited, but I think that was, the flow of the game. But he got back, he helped Wan-Bissaka, which is a big thing for me, because Wan-Bissaka's come under a bit of fire lately. People are getting on his case, can't defend in 1v1 situations. But I played a lot as a winger, and your first job is don't let your mate get 1v1. They've come back and help him, and he'll help you then going forward. And he would, more often than not, he was there. He was helping Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka defended a little bit better. Sancho was brilliant, and I was saying to you off air, it's amazing what you'll get if you do the basics right. When Bruno Fernandes kicks that ball 60 yards into the air, and you see Jorginho wonder it. When you see Jorginho, you're thinking he's not gonna have a bad touch here. I'll put half a press on. But Sancho goes, and you see Rashford sees Sancho and he thinks, right, I'll go with you. And it goes, and he has the bad touch. It's really, really poor from Jorginho. But United are there to capitalise on it. They weren't saying, we'll get 20 yards up the pitch, let the next wave come. They went hunting the ball and they got it, and they got the rewards. And really poor from Jorginho from a Chelsea point of view, but better from United, really better.
What should they expect then? Top 4?
No, definitely not top 4. I don't think...
you don't think United, with the new manager, can push on into top 4?
Well, look, I think Chelsea, City, Liverpool, they're cemented. I don't know what order they're going to be in the top 3, but I would, put my house on them being in the top 3. I think West Ham look brilliant. I think they look really good. Tottenham have gone and got Conte as well. I think that will click at some stage, whether they can push into the top 4. And at the minute, United have better individuals than a lot of people around, but West Ham are a better team. And I've seen a lot of West Ham this year. I didn't see West Ham against Man City today, but they've been excellent. And when I break down United and I break down West Ham, I would be putting West Ham to break the top 4 rather than United.
What about Chelsea then? Still top of the Premier League, just a point clear of Manchester City. They dominated possession. They had a dozen corner kicks. They created countless opportunities. Yet still, it felt like it never properly clicked in that final third.
Yeah, well, I think that's why there was such urgency to go out and get Lukaku, because you could see that the pieces of the puzzle were there. They could get to a certain point, and then you just needed somebody to hit the back of the net. Werner had 1 or 2 chances where you're thinking, should really be doing better there. I know Wan-Bissaka got across and made a great block. There was one where the ball bounced 12 yards out and you're thinking, just hit the target with pace. There was that many bodies in front of the Gea. If it gets a deflection, it hits in the back of the net. But he just blasted 3 yards wide. And I think that's, Werner's so good at a lot of things. But with the ball, the goal in front of him, the ball in front of him, he's not a prolific finisher. And that's when Lukaku comes back. Goals haven't really been an issue. They haven't been clinical today. But overall, Ben Chilwell, Reece James, they're all taking up the mantle of chipping in with the goals, and it hasn't been a problem. Today, not as clinical as they should be, but they've still got the 97 million man Lukaku to come back. So, I wouldn't be overly critical of Chelsea. They had enough chances to win the game, and I think, like I say, there's levels to Chelsea's game. I think they can raise it. I think that's probably the best United I've seen for a long time.
Well, you look at that Chelsea bench as well, and even the players who are missing because of injury: Kante, Mount, Lukaku, Havertz, Pulisic are probably all in their first choice 11. If they don't start it in, still they can be that dominant, albeit not getting the win.
Yeah, and that's why I think they can compete on all fronts. I think the Champions League is obviously a realistic game. The Premiership is a realistic game. And the cup competitions, they have such a strong squad. All them people you named. N'Golo Kante, I'm such a big fan of his. He can be an attacking player. He can be such a good defensive player. And he's really, really good. And we haven't really mentioned him. Loftus-Cheek, done really, really good in there. Jorginho, good. I know he made a couple of mistake for the goal. But in part, they've just been really, really good, the midfield. And they haven't missed N'Golo Kante. And that just goes to show you how strong the Chelsea squad is.
It feels incredibly hard to call between Liverpool, Chelsea, Manchester City. Maybe Liverpool's best is more exciting than the other two right now. But Chelsea and Manchester City seem to be able to grind out results when they're not fully on it a little bit easier than Liverpool. And there's also an African Cup of Nations. If you were to call it right now, what would you be thinking?
I think it'll go down to the head-to-heads. I think Chelsea, Liverpool against Man City's. I think them top 3 playing each other. Whoever comes out on them head-to-heads will come out on top in the Premiership. I think it's a big disadvantage. Liverpool will lose Salah and Mane if the African Cup of Nations, if they go across to that. That's a big dint in their front 3. I know Jota fills in really, really well, but the press comes from Sadio Mane, it comes from Salah, and so many times they've got them out of a hole. If you take them 2 boys out of it, there could be somebody come in and just keep Liverpool ticking over for a month and a half that they need. I would go, I think it's going to be Chelsea and City. I think them 2 are so strong. Like I say, with the African Cup of Nations, it just makes me come away from Liverpool ever so slightly.
Great stuff today, Keith.
Thanks a lot.